Hey guys, what's going on? I am Sean Delaney, and I am fired up and thrilled to share with you today one of the most useful tools I use with the people that I work with to get the most out of their lives and the most out of their year. And that's my ultimate year end review and jumpstart to 2023. And this is just a planning exercise we use to look back over the past year, uncover what worked, what didn't, reformulate and understand what we're trying to go after in life, who we want to become, and then formulate the correct habits, goals that we need to feed into that vision. Now, I personally coach executives, professional athletes, students, stay at home parents, everyone in between, even just those people who want to get just a little bit better. And again, they say this annual review and planning process is the most beneficial thing they do for their entire year. So if you want to have a little bit more juice going into 2023, I think you'll get a lot out of this presentation. And if you want to go further on this presentation, what you need to do is you need to step up and do the work, right? This is not necessarily going to be a simple process. You've got to go super deep. But when you do that, you're going to experience the rewards. And the rewards is going to be the best year you've had yet. So this is all about really simplifying and understanding what's most important to us, what we want to go after, who we want to become. And once we get clarity around that, then we're going to develop the goals and the habits you need to achieve success and really tap into who you can become. That's what this is all about. And that's what we're going to make happen here in 2023. So if you're ready to dive into this, I will get into it in a second. But before I do that, so like I mentioned, I work with a number of people. And if you're interested in actually going a bit further in your annual review and then diving into 2023, you can set up a 1-hour coaching strategy call with me. We'll do this over Zoom, and I'll help you really map out what it's going to take to get your best year yet in 2023. So if you want to do that, you can send me an email, sean@whatgotyouthere.com. It's linked up in the presentation, which I'm about to share here. And for a limited time, what I will actually do is I created an online personal development course called You Unleashed with a proven curriculum that has worked again and again with countless clients to really tap into people's full potential and unleash that. So if you're interested, I will throw this in for free in one of my 1-hour coaching sessions. So what you'll get is you'll get a 1-hour Zoom call with me, and you will also get my You Unleash personal development course. All right, so if you're ready to do this, let's dive in. I'm gonna share my presentation here, and we'll get right into it. All right, ultimate year-end review and 2023 jumpstart. So let's do it. All right, guys, you've got one life to live. The question becomes, how do you wanna live it, right? That is essentially what we're trying to answer when we do a review. And the great thing is we actually get to decide how we're going to live this life, how we're going to live this coming year, how are we going to show up. I want you to really be thinking about this. How do you want to live? How do you want to show up in this next year? So how do you use this planning process and this worksheet and this informational packet I want to share with you? And so the more you put in, the more you get out, right? The more time, energy, and focus that you put in, it's required to really get the most out of this. And it's funny because more people will spend more time on social media or watching Netflix today than they will spend planning their entire year. So why don't you change that around? Why don't you put in the time necessary to live your best year yet? So it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. So what I want you to do is allocate a few hours in solitude for quiet reflection. So what I do is I map out a week. And what I do is I select that 1 week. And for an hour each morning, I am solely dedicated on this, on my planning and review process. So do that, no distractions. What you need to do though, is you need to be willing to look in the mirror, right? This is not easy. Holding up the mirror, asking yourself the hard questions, reflecting back on what worked and what hasn't worked. This is usually one of the hardest things for people to do, but results in the greatest breakthroughs. So if you want a huge uptick in your productivity, in your success this coming year, you're going to have to face reality. And also share this with someone you can hold, who will hold you accountable, whether it be a friend, a coach, someone you work with. What I do is I share this, and I actually do this process with my wife as well, because we want to be aligned. We want to be on the same page, and we want a great relationship. If we want a better family unit, it really helps for me to understand what she's going after in life and what I'm going after and what is going to take to have a great year for both of us. So that's crucial. I really recommend you guys doing that. And then remember, this should be fun, inspiring, and exciting, right? Like get your favorite cup of Java, turn up the music, down the lights. Let's have some fun doing this. This is an exploration into who we can become, what this year is going to look like, and what it's going to take. So get excited about that. Have some fun while you guys are doing this. And then remember, this year end review is not perfect. We aren't perfect. This year end review isn't perfect. What you put down here This isn't gospel. It's not carved in stone. It can change. It will change. It will evolve just like you will throughout the year. So know that. Know that you have to adapt. You have to evolve. You have to change just like this will. All right. So your past doesn't determine your future unless you let it. Okay. This is a process of understanding our past and using that as valuable information, both what worked well, what held us, and also what held us back, and use that moving forward. But if we didn't show up in 2022 the way we wanted to, if we really didn't achieve what we were hoping to, that doesn't mean 2023 has to be the same way. We can show up in this moment as a totally different person. You can decide in this moment that who you've been in the past doesn't have to be who you are in the future. Expand the standards you've set for yourself and open up the possibilities of who you will become. All right. So this planning process, this review really should be a way to simplify your life and get a clear picture of what you're going after. And we're really going to do that. And how we're going to do that is we're going to think about vision, right? What are you working towards and who will you have to become in order to achieve that vision? Don't worry, we'll dive into all of these things. Next, motivations, mindsets, and beliefs. What are the motivations, mindsets, and beliefs that are going to help you achieve that vision? We need to uncover those. I want to tap into your core, right? This needs to be emotionally driven. I want you to get excited. So we'll walk through a few of the most helpful frameworks, questions, and deep exploratory exercises that can help you do that. Finally, goals, right? We need goals. We need to create the goals that when acted upon, you are going to achieve that vision that you mapped out. So this is really important. So that's how we're going to do it. All right. This becomes like an ecosystem. And what I mean by that is we want to unleash our best selves here in 2023, right? And this is how we're going to do it. All right. If you want to be unleashed, you need a vision of what you're going after. We're going to have your big five, the five most important things you're going to focus on. We're going to think about the habits that are going to drive the results and the goals that inspire you and feed into this, right? The goals feed into your vision. Your vision is driving this. What you're going to concentrate on, your big five, all of this reinforces one another. So you don't want to have goals that are out of alignment with who you want to become in your vision. You can't have habits that don't feed into your goals, your vision, and your big five. So that's why all of these things feed into each other. So your life is congruent. Everything is moving in the same direction. So you always want to think about that as you're planning your next year. Are the actions I'm taking, are the habits I'm developing, or the routines I have, are they feeding into that vision I'm going after? That's going to be crucial. All right. 2022, time to dive into 2022. So what we're doing is we're actually looking backwards to go forward, right? So I have a number of questions. So what you're going to want to do in that time of reflection. So I would spend an entire day, maybe 2 days, exploring only 2022. Because these questions, while there's a little bit of room here to write, you want to write these questions down in your notebook. You want to create your own Google Doc that you can elaborate and expand on these, right? The more in-depth you go, the more beneficial this is going to help you be. So you really want to look backward to go forward. So you want to think about, what did I do this year that most contributed to my growth? How did you grow? How did you evolve? What didn't I accomplish this year that I was hoping to? What are the reasons I didn't accomplish this? One of the reoccurring themes you'll see throughout these questions is really diving into the why, understanding the why, both in the successes and the failures. Why did I fail? Not just I failed, but why? What held me back? What can I change? What can evolve? I succeeded. I accomplished my goals. Well, why? What led to that? And so you really want to dive extremely deep into these questions. So I'm not going to go into all these questions now because you can explore them on your own time. All right. So like I said, there is a number of questions we're going to go through. And you want to think about mindsets, people, accomplishments. What sparks you, right? Like, what is getting that fire burning in your belly? Thinking about that in the past, there's certain mindsets, there's certain people who unleash you, who bring out your best. And then there's those mindsets, there's those people that bring you back, that bring you down. And so as we're thinking about last year and looking forward to the future, we really need to examine them. We need to understand if they're helpful, if they're serving us, if we want to continue with them moving forward, or if it's time to eliminate, if it's time to get rid of. And we always want to think about how we perform when we're at our best, that fully unleashed version of ourselves. What contributes to it? There are certain factors, there are certain things that lead to that. And so really think about that as you're mapping out and looking back at your previous year. All right. We do this because we need to understand that we can change, right? You're here because you know, there's things you can be doing. There's things that moving forward, you want to be different. If you had a perfect last year, I doubt that you're watching this video to get ready for the next year. So like I was saying a minute ago, we want to get excited about, we really want to get invigorated by that, but we need to do that first by understanding our past. So this is the final one, looking back at 2022 to be able to go forward. All right, what's my number one goal that if I accomplished it in the next 365 days would make this year a success in my eyes? There needs to be one thing, one overarching goal that is just in your belly and lighting you on fire that you want to accomplish this year. You need to reflect, you need to zoom out, and you need to think about that. That is going to provide a lot of motivation, a lot of energy, and you need to get crystal clear on what that is. Now, more important than just the goal is, who do I have to become to achieve that goal, right? If you want an incredible business year where, let's say, you're finally launching that business, right? The one you've had in your back pocket, you've been working on kind of as a side hustle. Well, who do you have to become to take that step to elevate your game and really launch that business and make it successful? In order to accomplish goals, we need to understand who we're going to become to achieve those goals. And guess what? Sometimes that big goal, that goal we thought was going to serve us, is actually going to diminish us. It's not going to lead to the person we want to become. And if that's the case, we need to rework that goal. So you always, always, always want to think about who you have to become in order to achieve the goal you're going after. And how we're going to do that is we're going to get crystal freaking clear on the vision of who we will become. So what I want you to do, this is one of my favorite exercises, and this is one of the most impactful exercises you can do. So you want to fast forward to December 31st, 2023. For this to be the greatest year that you could possibly live, what needs to take place? The best year of your life, for that to take place, what needs to take place? So there are a bunch of questions up here to spark your imagination, to get that possibility really up. And so really dive into this, explore this, go as deep as you possibly can on this. Don't just put little bullet points, tell a story. Get deep into this, get entrenched in the story. You want to become the author of the greatest story you're writing, and you have the ability to live into that. And what you want to do is, after these exercises, it is essential that you write the why behind these things. Why do I want to be like this? Remember, emotion is going to create motion for you. If you want to get inspired and invigorated and really thrive this year, well, you've got to have that burning passion, that fire inside of you. So get excited about this. So remember, this isn't a potential to live up to, but a possibility to live into. Who are you going to become? So 91% of people do not achieve their New Year's goals, and why you won't be one of them. Did you guys know that? Did you know 91% of people, according to statistics, actually do not achieve their goals? And so apparently January 19th is called Quitter's Day because it's the most popular day where people give up on their goals. That's horrible, right? 91%, there's 9% of people out there. We're going to make you one of those 9%. And so the way we are going to do that is by setting goals, big goals. All right. We're going to first start and think about inspiring, invigorating goals. You notice a theme here. I keep talking about what lights you on fire, what gets you up, excited, invigorated. Because if you think about the goals, I know the goals in my own life, the ones that I've quit. Why did I quit? Because they were not tapped into my emotion. I didn't care enough. The goals that I've accomplished, now they tap into who I want to become. They inspire me, they get me up. Those mornings I can't sleep and I bounce out of bed because I'm going after big things that inspire me. Well, your goals need to do that as well. Next up, they need to be specific, measurable, and achievable, okay? You need to get super specific. And I'll dive into that in a second on how specific you really want to get into. But they need to be specific, they need to be measurable. You need to be able to measure these consistently. Not only did you accomplish the goal, but what are the metrics leading up to that goal? And then it needs to be achievable, all right? You can't set impossible things, right? An impossible thing might be, you might be 1 year out of school, no business, and you say, I'm gonna be a billionaire by the end of next year. Well, that's unrealistic, okay? If you're Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, yeah, you can make $1 billion in the next year, but it's not achievable for most of us. So set achievable goals. So what I mean by specific is, all right, let's think about this. You want to improve your health over this next year, all right? So you want to be a runner. So a non-specific goal would be, I want to run more this year. Not specific, right? There's no action in that. Really specific is on November 2nd, 2023, I want to run the Disney half marathon at an 8:45 mile pace. All right, that's specific, right? Can you measure that? Yeah, I can measure that. On March 1st, I'm averaging a 10:02 mile. All right, but I'm working with an accountability partner, one of my friends who's also training for the marathon. And guess what? I actually hired a coach who's trained 100 athletes to run a half marathon. So I can measure it. I know it's achievable because I can really work towards this. All right. And so that's going to be important. Can you measure it along the way? All right. What did you run on March 1st? What did you run on June 1? What did you run on August 1, September 1? As you lead up to that goal, can you see you're getting closer? Or maybe that goal wasn't achievable. Maybe we need to maneuver it slightly. Okay. Next up is sustainable action. Is it realistic that you're going to show up every single day? All right. Say this runner, say this person who wants to be a better runner, say they work 90 hours a week. They're like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to go running each day? No chance, impossible. You've got to know if it's possible for you. Can you do the action every day? Can you show up? Can you get your running shoes on? Can you allocate the time needed to achieve that goal? Whatever that goal is for you, no. Can you have the sustainable action? And even on the days you don't feel like doing it, is your why behind why you're doing this so compelling, you will still do it, right? At the beginning of this, we talked about invigorate and inspire. What is inspiring to you? That runner. I would ask them, well, why do you want to run the Disney half marathon? And you know what they might say? They say, my entire life, I wasn't an athlete. I had this limiting belief that I couldn't accomplish anything in a physical realm. I never played sports, and I always wanted to see if I was capable of something. So you know what? On November 2nd, 2023, when I run that Disney half marathon, it is going to be the proudest accomplishment of my life. I'm going to prove to myself that I'm capable of doing physical things, that I can push my limits, I can tap into my unrealized potential and become the person I know I can become. Let's freaking go, right? That is a goal that is going to inspire. And those days that person is tired, they are going to think about their why and they will be able to sustain action. Next, let's speed up this process. Study people who've done it before, right? Find mentors, coaches, and people who can guide you and speed up your process and your goals. You want to accomplish your goals faster, find people who have done it, understand their playbook, and repeat. And if you want me to coach to go further and help you really unleash your potential this next year, like I said, send me an email, Sean@whatgotyouthere.com. I am more than excited and fired up to help you on your process. So your big five, I talked about this earlier in the ecosystem we're creating. What are the 5 most important life categories you're going to focus on this year? So I just mapped out the 5 I'm thinking about: my family, my health, my personal growth, my community, and my work. Okay, we only have so much time and energy we can allocate each year, each day. So what you need to do is you need to use your time and energy correctly. And you want to focus that on the things that are going to derive the most meaning for you. All right. So I just put a handful of these. You can add whatever you want to your list, right? Religion, meditation, business, community service, creativity. It doesn't matter. Find your 5, pick them, and then go all in. All freaking in on these 5. Okay. They should get your attention, your energy, and your effort. And this isn't something that you just want to be concentrating on this year. Most likely, these are going to be themes that will be consistent with who you think about and who you want to become throughout your entire life. So those are your big 5, okay? You want to get super clear on these. It's going to be incredibly helpful for really showing up the way you want to this year. All right. So we were talking about goals a second ago. So we picked those big 5, right? And so we picked the big 5. I'm going to explore health. So we're going to do this for each one of the big buckets. All right. So we're going to look back on that category, one of these big 5 categories that is so important. What went well? Why did this go well? Right? We're exploring the why again and again. What didn't go so well? Why didn't this go so well? And then you got to think about the year moving forward. What am I going to focus on this coming year to improve on this? All right. And then why does this life bucket matter to me? So we're going to do this for every single one. So if you look back, mine were health, family, those different ones. We do this for each one of our own individual buckets. All right. Next up, goals. Okay. We are setting goals for each one of those big 5 as well. All right. Those big 5. Those are where you're going to derive the most meaning in life. So we want to set up goals that are going to really sustain those, really fuel them, and help you become who you can become in that big life bucket. So remember, this is all working towards the same thing, who we're going to become. right? Your vision, your big five, your habits, and your goals. So looking at those goals, and you're going to do this for each category, right? You're going to have your goal. It's got to be specific. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be achievable. It has to be inspiring. You need to be able to sustain action. And then how are you going to speed it up? Key habits, right? Habit is either the best of servants or the worst of masters. I love that quote because, yeah, our habits really feed into who we are going to become, who we're going to show up to, and we can use them to our benefit, or they can really hold us back and drag us down, right? We all have certain habits that fuel us and certain ones that drive us down. What you need to do is you really need to explore which ones are holding you back, and which ones you can use to fuel yourself moving forward here. And the thing that I found is you have top habits. There are just a handful of them that are giving you basically 90% of your results, your successes, your emotional well-being, the positive benefits in your life. What are those top habits, right? Maybe it's a workout routine. Maybe it's a meditation routine. Maybe it's a reading and learning routine. Maybe it's a date night with your wife or your significant other. Find out what your top habits are, those key habits that drive the results for you. And then you want to think about those ones that are taking away from your energy, your well-being, right? If we have those, what do we want to do? Well, not only do we want to get rid of them, but we want to feed that space and that time and energy with ones that are going to fuel us. And then a question I love, this is incredibly beneficial to really finding out who you can become. What's the number one thing that if I started doing it would have the most positive impact on my life, right? There's usually these little seeds inside all of us, these little things in the back of our mind that we know if we did, well, life's just going to be different. What's that thing for you? All right. And then what's the number one thing you need to stop doing? Once again, we've got to uncover what isn't working. So those are key habits. I want you to really spend some time here, explore this, dive into this, and uncover those, both the good and the bad. All right. So you probably have, like I said, just a few key habits. So what you need to do is you need to uncover those big three. And then we need to figure out how we are going to get those involved in our day every day, right? You got these couple habits, and three is an arbitrary number, but believe me, this is going to be less than five. There's just a handful. There's just a couple that drive everything for us. And so what you need to do is you need to allocate the time each day. You're telling me there's these things that give you incredible meaning, incredible success and positive benefit in your life. Well, you've got to schedule the time to really live these things and do these actions. All right. So those are your three key habits. It's very helpful to get crystal clear on these. All right. We're going to be wrapping up here in a minute, but this concept I love. I forget where I originally heard this concept around musogi, but this is more of a Western interpretation of a musogi challenge. And so you do something so hard one time a year that it has an impact on the other 364 days, right? Both in thinking about it, in planning for it, in training for it, and then also the amount of accomplishment you're going to feel if you do achieve it. And then even if you fail at it, well, man, you pushed yourself. You showed up, you gave it your all. So Dr. Marcus Elliott, he is one of the best coaches in terms of working with elite level athletes and helping them get ready. So he works with something like 90% of the top NBA players. I've had some really fun conversations with Dr. Marcus Elliott, and he says, take on challenges that radically expand your sense of what's possible. And he says there are just two rules around musogis. You have to have a 50% chance of success at best, and it doesn't kill you. Does it make your jaw drop? That's a good litmus test for whether something can be a musogi or not. So you need to feel scared. When I think about my musogi, what I'm going to be doing next year, oh man, right? I get nervous. I'm like fearful. It's like, wow, this is going to be hard. But you know what? The possibility of accomplishing it, damn, that's exciting. That's motivating. That's invigorating. That's what you want. This is something different, but I've found this has tremendous benefits, both in the planning process, the preparation, and then on the actual day you do your musogi. So if you've never done this before, try it. See if this is something that can really expand your potential in 2023. All right. So this is basically everything we discussed in one slide. First off, that number one goal. What is the number one goal you're going after this year, and who do you have to become? Write that out. So what I want you doing is I want you answering all of these and then have them on your desk, right? Maybe on your laptop screen. When you go to bed at night, look at these. Ingrain these in your head. You want these at the forefront of your mind at all times. You want your subconscious at play here continually. So your number one goal. And then you also answer why. Why is this inspiring? Why is that your number one goal? Okay. Part of the vision, one of the earlier slides, at the end of that, is the one sentence. What is the one sentence you are going to use to describe this year? All right. That crystallizes how you're thinking about this coming year. All right. You want that one sentence. You want to be thinking about that every single day. We talked about the key habits. What are the 3 key habits that drive 90% of the positive results and well-being in your life? Look at those. Think about them. You're doing them every day. Make sure you're thinking about them. All right, these next 5, personal growth, community, health, work, and family, those are just my 5. Those are my big 5. Whatever your big 5 are, that's what you're going to put on your sheet. You want to know about what it actually is, the goal, right? What is the goal you've set in this big category? What is the habit you do every day, not occasionally? What is the habit you do every day that really feeds into that big life category, and then why? Again and again, we are getting to the why behind what we're doing, what matters, what we're going after in life and in this year. So for every single one of those big categories, you've got a goal, you've got a habit, and you understand the why. Finally, you've got that musogi, that big, scary, hairy, audacious one-day event that is going to help you on 364 other days of the year. Get freaking fired up about your musogi. You want to be thinking about that and training for that every single day. Don't live your finest hours in the waiting room of life. Get after it in 2023. What's holding you back from making this your best year ever? One thing, you are, and you can unleash yourself this year. I know you can, and I'm fired up for everyone to live their best and fulfill their potential this year. So if you're interested in having me work with you personally, remember, send me an email, sean@whatgotyouthere.com. I would love the opportunity to coach you, to work with you, to continue to fuel you and sustain you through this next year. It's going to be hard. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be obstacles. But remember, every obstacle you ever face in the past, you've gotten through. You're here today because you've overcome them, and you can overcome them in the future. So I would love the opportunity to help you out. I hope this presentation really got you fired up, really got you clarity around last year, what you're going after, and who you can become. So if you want this and more, remember, you can head to my website, whatgotyouthere.com. And if you're interested in expanding more and finding more about your potential, you can shoot me an email, sean@whatgotyouthere.com. I'm doing these special through the next month, hour-long Zoom coaching calls to help you unpack your year-end review for 2022 and jumpstart 2023. And for a limited time, if you sign up for one of these hour-long coaching sessions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in my personal development course called You Unleash for free. All right. So if you're excited about that, you're fired up, send me an email, sean@whatgotyouthere.com. I cannot thank you enough for joining me, for taking the time. Now you take the time for yourself, put the energy, effort, and attention you need to really review your 2022 and jumpstart your 2023. Thank you so much, guys. I look forward to seeing you again, and get ready to leap into 2023.